So for our base mix, I'm basically going to take, see if I can do it this way without making a mess, a little bit of French ultramarine. I'm going to put it right here. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit of permanent mauve, put it right beside. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit of burnt sienna, not too much. Put it right there. And actually I will take some crimson alizarin, a little bit. And I'll put it right there. You won't get a true black with this, but you're going to get a very, very dark grayish purple. Like it'll be almost black, but it's going to be like it's going to have a grayish purple tint. The crimson and the purple are going to make it more purple, and the sienna is going to tone it down to a grayish color. So if I mix all that up, and I'm not going to over mix it. Okay, very dark. And if I scrape it off here, just so you can see, it's a grayish purple color. It's kind of hard to see on the camera there, but it's a grayish purple color. So to basically put that into the mountain, I'm going to scrape it. Now because I'm right-handed, I'm going to put everything onto the right side of my palette knife. All we want to do is add that color on there. That's all we're doing. We're not doing anything fancy. We're just adding the color, but you're just going to follow the direction the way you want your rocks to go. And then I'll show you why I prefer using a brush instead of a palette knife. Now, let's see, I'll work on this side. So with the palette knife, and basically I can just do this. And just kind of do this, and then work my way. And then I can just keep going and keep going and keep going, reloading my palette knife as I need to, and then I kind of scrape everything off just so I have a very light color. Or scrape off most of the paint, so there's almost, so I'm just kind of staining the canvas, and I can change the shape if I want to very easy. Okay, so you scrape everything off. Okay. Normally, also when you do this, you would be working on a wet-on-wet technique, which means the background would already be wet. Okay. When I do this with the palette knife and scrape it off, I see all the texture from the canvas. Okay. If you were to do all of this, then you would take a large brush, and then you would just basically blend everything down to the direction that you want your mountains to take. Like that. Okay? Well, yeah, that's all fine and dandy and stuff, but you know what? There's a much nicer way to create your mountains that are really, really soft without doing all this, because this just makes it more difficult to do any highlighting. Okay, so I've got that in there. With a brush, I'm going to put everything back on the palette. Okay? And I'm going to wipe the palette knife and basically put it away. I'm going to take my number 20 shader, and I'm just going to distribute this right now. Let me just get this distributed. When I'm putting color on to a palette for mountains, very little paint. Very little paint, but you don't want any unpainted canvas showing through. That's very, very important. So when putting the color on with a brush, I visualize the way that the mountains flow, the way that the actual peaks and valleys go. Let me just grab the other panel. I visualize this. Okay? How I'm painting it now may not be how it's going to end up, but you don't want to block your colors in left to right. So you want to just kind of put them in like this. And you'll notice I'm kind of using choppy strokes, because when you're finished doing all that, and you take a step back, you can see the rock formations in your mountain. The only way that you can see that in your mountain is by using these choppy strokes. So when doing that, all I'm doing I'm just blocking in that color in here. Now, when taking it from the palette, I still have the colors unmixed. I didn't overmix it, so I'll just kind of pick up some color like that. And go back and do this. Okay. That's all I'm doing at this stage. And by using the short choppy strokes, I can start seeing the rock formations happening. Now, even when this is done, I can still go back and I can still touch them up very, very easily. So all I'm doing is this. Okay, just blocking in that color. When you're doing that, okay, when I'm doing that, I'm not using comma strokes or curve strokes. I'm using straight strokes because that's going to help me create those edges on the rocks or on the mountains, like those rock edges. So we were able to do this with just, not too many colors. Payne's Gray would be nice as a base for a mountain. See, now I picked up a little bit more of the burnt sienna and purple mix. That's fine. I don't care. Now if I run out of paint, I'm going to pretend I'm going to run out of paint. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of purple, a little bit of blue, a little bit of blue, a little bit of purple, a little bit of crimson, a little bit of burnt sienna, and I'll just do this. Not overblend it. I'll come up here. The color's not even close. Not even close. So then I'll just pick up a little bit more blue, a little bit more purple. Put that in there. There we go. When I'm painting the mountains, I never go for a perfect match because now I can just take that new color, and I can just add it here and there. I never try to get an exact match. All we're doing at this stage of the game is just blocking in our mountain. We're preparing it for the detail work. So now I've done a very, very rough blocking of color. Okay, you can see it's, let me get really close here. You can see a lot of strokes in there. Okay, we want to see brush strokes. We don't want to see ridges of paint. Okay, what I'll do now is I'll go back and I'll say, okay, well, right here I just want to fix this up a little bit. Just to straighten that out a little bit. I love this shape here. I've got that little crook in here, so when I start highlighting, I'm going to use that as a ridge right here. This one here, this mountain here, I think I'll have that in behind and have this one come out and forward, so I'm just going to kind of clean that up a little bit. And I can have it come down just like so. Just like that. So this is now where we're sort of touching up the edges. Okay? So this is going to be in behind, so this is going to be in the front, so I'm just going to go like this. And now what I'm doing is I'm pulling the paint a little bit, and I'm seeing a line. Okay? A little bit of a line, that's going to be my guide. I can add a bit more paint for that too.